So, hi, Marshall.
Hello, thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm thrilled and so excited and grateful to be with you today in this dialogue about credibility, an amazing topic retrieved from your last book, your fourth New York Times Best Seller, The Earned Life, Amazon Editor's Choice, Best Book of 2022. And as you told me lately, out of your 51 books, this one is your beloved? Yes. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be together in this thought-provoking dialogue and introduce you to my clients in Greece and especially to the participants of our annual hybrid conference, Coach Now. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So, Marshall, starting our conversation, allow me to introduce you to our audience with my favorite story of yours.
Okay.
You are a member of the Thinkers 50 Hall of Fame. You are the only two-time Thinkers 50 #1 leadership thinker in the world. You have been ranked as the world's #1 executive coach and top 10 business thinker for 8 years. Wow, my God. You were chosen as the inaugural winner of the Lifetime Award for Leadership by the Harvard Institute of Coaching. Moreover, you are a New York Times #1 best-selling author. Your books have sold over 3 million copies, been translated into 32 languages, and become bestsellers in 12 countries. Amazon recently recognized the 100 best leadership and success books ever written and included 2 books, Triggers and What Got You Here Won't Get You There. Makes you the only living author with 2 books on the list. Your other bestsellers include Mocho, I like this word, Succession, Are You Ready? The Leader of the Future, and How Women Rise, my favorite, with the lead author self-help design. I can say that I have all of them on my preferred list given to my students in the coaching training. Moreover, you live happily ever after with your beloved wife, and you have 2 very successful children, 1 daughter and 1 son.
Right.
Correct? So,
right. And 2 grandkids.
You have also 2 grandkids.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah. And now, Marshall, you are with me. So, hey. How are you feeling listening to others presented you with such an admiration of esteem? Is that something that matters for you, or you are waiting patiently with a little embarrassment to finish?
Well, you know, I mean, to me, I've worked very hard for a lot of years. And it's very important to have, as we discussed, credibility. Why are you talking to me? If I didn't have a great bio, you wouldn't be talking to me. I wouldn't be able to talk to people. I love people. I love working in Greece. It's one of my favorite places in the world. Where I love the people in Greece. I've had so much fun. The only problem I've ever had in Greece is, for some reason, I end up getting drunk too frequently. So but it's not my fault. I'm a victim every time, of course. So I love it there, and I love being able to work with the people from Greece. I've had such good experiences. Nothing but positives there. So to me, it's good to have a good bio because you get asked to do things. You get asked to make a difference in the world. And if you don't, you don't.
I accept that. I accept and understand completely, Marshall. So would you like to say something about me? Would you like to say something about me? Do you know something about me?
Well, I have some things about you. Now, let's see. You are an award-winning executive coach, #1 executive coach in Athens, HR Award, Most Innovative Leadership Programs, Gift of Coaching Collective, international recognition by ICF Foundation. I'm a good friend of their CEO, Magda Mook, just a wonderful person. Accredited ICF professional coaching education provider, visionary, innovative entrepreneur with social concerns, CEO and founder of Human Resource Expertise, senior executive, masterful HR consultant with more than 25 years experience. Now, I'm not sure about that part. 25 years experience. I'm not trusting that part. You look far too young to have 25 years experience. So that part's
This is the makeup.
that part might not be true.
My soul is very young as yours, Pascal. My soul is very young as yours.
And you've got an international reputation as one of the leading women thinkers in Greece, and just overall a good person. Yay! I think that's wonderful.
This characterizes me, I could say.
How'd you like hearing your bio? You have a good bio. Yay!
Okay.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Marshall. That was amazing. Listen to my bio from you, a so famous, so respectful person as you are. So I feel proud of myself that I was bold enough to approach you, ask you to support me in my effort to spread the word of coaching in Greece. Starting our conversation about credibility, I would like to ask you a question.
Sure.
I think that the important people with a positive impact are humble people. And this is the definition of fulfillment, Master Joy. What do you think?
See, I think it's very interesting. The point that I talk about in the book is, first, credibility must be earned twice. That's a very important point. Credibility means that you're respected for doing a great job. You're admired, you're respected, you're looked up to. People believe in you and trust you. In order to achieve that, you have to do two things. One, you have to do great work. I mean, you can't be credible by doing bad work. You have to do great work. Yet two, you have to be recognized for doing great work, and that is certainly not the same thing. Now, for example, I'm a very fortunate person. I've sold 3 million books. On Amazon, there are 33 million titles, 33 million. How many books do you have to sell in 1 year to be in the top half of all books sold? 2. 16 million of those books sold 0 to 1 copy last year. Now, I'm not so arrogant to believe my books are better than 16 million books. Some of those books, I'm sure, are fantastic books. No one read them. They may be great books. No one read the book. From a credibility point of view, they could be fantastic competence, great books. No one read them. So to me, an important thing about building credibility is two. One is you have to do great work. Two is you need to be recognized for doing that great work, because if you're not, you won't be asked to do it. And by the way, the coaches I worked with tend to, A, do great work, and B, not be good at marketing themselves at all. They tend to be very, very bad at marketing. That's one reason coaching is such a low-paid profession for many people. They're just not good at marketing themselves. And many of the coaches I meet really don't need to learn to be good coaches. They're very good coaches. They need to learn to sell better.
It's not enough to be so good, so excellent, so perfect in competency. They don't have this ability and the confidence to sell your competence or to make people understand your competence. I totally agree with you, Marshall. That's why it was so, it was very important for me to have this conversation about credibility, because our audience, my audience, are coaches, are people that are going to become coaches and leaders. They want to lead as a coach. So right. The credibility is important and crucial, critical, we can say, for both. Okay.
And you know, if you look at the concept of credibility, in my book, I talk about a few things. One is called letting go. Letting go is I'm not trying to prove myself, and I'm not trying to gain recognition, and I shouldn't. My friend Alan goes to Ford. He's never been in a car company. And anytime he's asked a question, he always answers with, is there anyone in the company who can answer this question better than me? Or maybe can we hire somebody who can answer this question better than me? If the answer is yes, then he says, why am I speaking? Well, his point is, I don't have to prove anything. If there's someone here that can answer the question better than me, I don't need to build credibility. In fact, I need to let go. So I'm not trying to gain credibility, and it would hurt me if I did. That's called letting go. It can be a very good thing. One box is called overselling. That is, I'm selling myself too much. I'm trying to prove myself myself when I should not be trying to prove myself. And my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, is largely about overselling. If we look at two dimensions, one dimension is called making a positive difference. And my great mentor was Peter Drucker. And Peter Drucker taught me we're here on earth to make a positive difference, not just to prove we're smart, not to prove we're right. And the other dimension is called proving ourselves. So am I trying to prove myself, and will it help me make a positive difference? If the answer is, I'm not trying to prove myself, and it wouldn't help me make a positive difference as I did, this is called letting go. Letting go is a very positive thing. Letting go is, I'm not trying to prove myself, and I should not try to prove myself. That's called letting go. Very positive. The next dimension of the credibility matrix is, I'm trying to prove myself, and it's not worth it. Maybe I'm showing off or just talking too much. Well, that's called overselling. And overselling does more harm than good. My book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, is largely about the problem of overselling. Trying to win too much, trying to prove you're right, trying to make your points, overselling yourself. Now, why? Well, I wrote that book based on my experience with my clients. My clients were 85% men, just because the average CEO, 85% of CEOs were men. My clients were randomly represented, and they're mostly very assertive people. They love to win. They're big winners in life, and they tend to oversell. The whole book is largely about overselling. My friend Sally Helgeson talked to me, and she said, look, that book is great, but most of the women I meet have the opposite problem. They tend to undersell. They don't promote themselves enough. They hide their light under a barrel. They're always apologizing for everything. And so she really pointed out that sometimes great people can undersell. And the whole book, How Women Rise, most of that book is focused on underselling.
Yes.
And then achieving credibility is, I'm proving myself to the degree that it will help me make a positive difference in the world. I did 80 podcasts to promote my book, The Earned Life. Why? I believe in the book. I think it'll help the world. Well, I'm out there selling. Why? Because I believe it's going to make a positive difference. My friend Hubert Joly was the CEO of Best Buy, one of the greatest CEOs in America, turned the company around, and he was going to write a book. And I'm his coach and good friend. I said, Hubert, you're going to write a book? You're in sales. Now, if you don't want to get out there and promote the book, don't even bother to write it, because it won't sell that much. If you're going to write a book, sell it. And many CEOs, they leave being a CEO, they write a book, but they don't promote the book. No one buys it. Well, why are you writing the book? You're writing for yourself? Do you want to touch people or not? If you want to touch people, get out there and sell books. So I'm very proud of him. He did such a good job of promoting his book. It's called The Heart of Business. So building credibility. And, you know, an interesting question is this: underselling, overselling. All right, let's leave the matrix. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Okay.
You know, something that came up to me is that there is a different mentality between American and Europeans. I totally agree with you. You are my mentor, and I'm following you. I'm saying, oh, Marshall doing this, so I have to do it. And when I'm following you, it's perfect. I see the results, you see. There is the mentality here in Europe, as European people, that don't oversell yourself. Everything that is selling is something bad. I don't know if you know this mentality. And sometimes they say, oh, American people, they overselling, you see. And this mentality is in our blood, you know. Right. That's why you don't see so many European people as best-selling or globally recognized.
Right.
What do you want to say? What would you like to say about that?
Well, a couple of points. One is, I think it's slightly more complicated because of this. If you look at the Thinkers 50, for example, almost everyone speaks very fluent English. So just being brought up to speak English, you have a huge advantage. 80%, 90% of all the business books are sold in English. So if you don't speak fluent English, it is a huge disadvantage. To be perfectly fair, just being brought up in, by the way, a lot of Indians are at the top of that list. So if you're an Indian, you're an American, you're an Australian, you're a Brit, you have a huge advantage over people that were not brought up speaking English fluently. So that's part of it. And you have to write in English, which is very, very challenging if it's not your first language. The other part of it is, I think, just what you said, though, this phobia of I shouldn't have to do that. Now, have you ever heard this phrase before? My good work should speak for itself.
Yes, yes, totally. They are saying things. Yes, my good work is going to show who I am, and they are going to see.
Yes, my good work should speak for itself. That phrase is a nonsense phrase.
There is no another way. There is no other way if you don't speak by yourself about your work.
Well, you're right. God is not going to fly out of the sky recognizing your good work, number one. And number two, if your good work would truly speak for itself, no company would need a marketing function. Why would you have to have just do good work and you don't have to worry? And so to me, this is a ridiculous way of thinking. My good work should speak for itself. No, it won't. Your good work will not speak for itself. Part of the European ethos you talk about is indeed people who are modest, humble, and undersell. Part of it's just bullshit. It's just people that pretend to be humble and modest, but they're really bragging and trying to prove how humble and modest they are while they're speaking. So really, they're bragging about being humble. It's just another form of showing off. So part of it's just nonsense.
I'm humble. They are humble because they are not competent enough.
By the way, if they were really humble, they wouldn't be bragging about being so humble.
Of course, you're totally right, Marshall.
Now, so you made a great point about coaches. I've asked thousands of coaches this question. If you had a mistake, by the way, with CEOs, the mistake tends to be overselling. When I ask coaches, do you tend to undersell or oversell? They are much more likely to say underselling. Coaches specifically have the problem of underselling much more than executives have. And, you know, there's one thing about people that oversell and undersell. The oversellers tend to make more money than the undersellers who tend to make less money. So, you know, that's part of the problem with underselling. You tend to make less money. Well, I'm going to ask everyone who's listening to me some questions. All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
All of you coaches out there listening.
Yes, we have many of them, and we have executive as well. Yes.
This is coaching for the coaches. Are you ready, coaches? About 85% of all coaches, if I ask, do you tend to undersell or oversell? About 85% say they tend to undersell. Now, some of the coaches are almost proud of this. It's like, I don't oversell, I undersell. All right, all you undersellers, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Are you ready? Question one, back to the good Peter Drucker point. If you became more powerful and influential, would the world be worse off or better off? If you became more powerful and influential, would the world be worse off or better off? Invariably, they say better off, which, by the way, I normally agree. I think most coaches are good people. The world would be better off. Question two. Does trying to become more powerful and influential make you feel uncomfortable? Oh, uncomfortable. Yeah. Invariably, they say, yes, it makes me uncomfortable. Question three, you undersellers who've been bragging about how humble you are. What's more important to you? Making a positive difference in the world or being comfortable?
The question you asked me.
Yeah, what is more important? Making a positive difference in the world or being comfortable? Well, my advice, if you want to make a positive difference in the world and makes you uncomfortable, get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. Don't get lost in your own comfort zone at the expense of making a positive difference in life. If you believe becoming more powerful and influential would help the world and you're not doing it, shame on you. That's nothing to brag about. That's nothing to brag about. You basically are lost in your own comfort level. So a great way to think about this credibility is it going to make the world better? If the answer is, I do not believe it's going to make the world better, don't do it. If the answer is it would make the world better, do it.
So as an HR guru and expert, I would like to ask you, how about HR people and credibility?
Yeah, I would say HR people, it's more mixed. coaches tend to way over in the area of undersell. HR people tend to undersell, not quite as strongly as coaches. Some of the HR people are better at selling. Typically, the head HR officers are better at balancing under and over. The head of HR typically can sell. That's why they got there. The head of HR can sell. On the other hand, as you go down in the organization, you see people less comfortable with selling. Let me tell you, why are people in HR at all? Why? A lot of them don't want to be salespeople. They don't want to sell.
Yes.
They're afraid of selling. And so they get into HR because they don't have to go out and sell things all day. Well, a lot of CEOs can sell. You don't become a CEO if you cannot sell. They can sell. They can sell, and so they're much more comfortable with selling.
And there is the other parameter, that is the empathy. CEO must be credible, sell, and have the empathy to understand people. And this is very important for the CEO. Yeah. Is that true?
Oh, I would say it is true. Some are very good and some not so good. Yeah, having it is good. Some have more, some have less. Yeah.
Some people in the executive area, HR, other executives, they don't feel comfortable to sell because they believe that because of their position, they have the power to be heard.
Yes.
So they don't bother to take the effort to be heard.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I would say very good for HR people to focus on presenting ourselves. Look, I'm HR people, to me, the world would typically be better off if they became more influential.
More seeing. And can you tell to HR audience how coaching can help them in credibility?
Well, I mean, to me, it depends upon the type of coaching you get. And to me, coaching is a very big term. What does that mean? I mean, Magda Mook, who's head of the ICF, is a good friend of mine. And people are expanding that definition of coaching. It's no longer this narrow definition that it used to have. And so I would say some of the coaching HR people need is how to present themselves, how to be more assertive, how to sell, and how to make an influential difference. Now, again, as Peter Drucker said, our mission in life is to make a positive difference. Every decision in life is made by the person who has the power to make the decision. Make peace with that. Every decision in life is made by the person who has the power to make the decision. Make peace with that. If I need to influence you and you have the power to make the decision, there's one word to describe you. You know what that word is? Customer. There's one word to describe me, salesperson. Customers don't have to buy, salespeople have to sell. Peter Drucker taught me these lessons. Customers don't have to buy, salespeople have to sell. HR people often do not have line responsibility. They have to sell.
Yes.
They have to sell to their internal customers. And the customers don't have to buy. They have to sell. Well, learn to sell.
That make peace with that. You cannot sell. We cannot sell everything. We can say something that is important. And we know very well, if there is something we cannot sell, don't do it. Like peace with
Let me ask you some questions. Have you ever had this thought before? I'm amazed that someone at that level, I'm amazed that someone at this high level is crazy, weird, acts like an idiot, is such a fool. I'm amazed that someone at this high level is that way. Have you ever had these thoughts?
If I
many times.
Morale, if we want to raise my morale, I'm saying
many times you've had these thoughts.
I'm a great professional. I can have a great impact in the world.
I'm going to make a point now.
Okay.
You have had this thought many times in your life. I'm amazed that someone at such a high level, followed by his weird, crazy, acts like an idiot. I'm amazed. Here's the question. Why are you so amazed? Now, I have a question for you. Before this call, have you ever read a history book in your life before? Did you read a history book before? Yes. Yes. And in most people at those high levels in history, are they mostly women or men over the years? Women or men? Mostly men. Younger or a little older? a little older. Is there anything in the history of the world that would lead you to believe when you take old men, you give them money and power and status, they begin to act very sane and rational? Did you read such a book? There is no book. They get crazier and crazier and crazier. Well, decisions are not made by sane people or normal people or rational people or fair people. Decisions are made by decision makers. If we want to make a difference in life, you need to influence decision makers. Decision makers don't have to buy. You can sit there and whine all you want to. That doesn't help you make a positive difference in the world. You got to learn how to influence decision makers. HR people, critically important, learn to influence decision makers. Why? They have to get behind what we say. As an HR professional, I make ideas. I'm not their boss. They don't have to do this stuff. I'm not the boss. If I'm the boss, I can tell them what to do and how to do it. As an HR professional, you're usually not the boss. You're in a staff job.
Yes, you have to convince, you have to inspire, you have to make other people to understand you and accept what you have to offer them. Oh, this is great. So if people can say about credibility and companies in general, why companies must be credible?
Yes, yeah. And, and again, in credibility, do that great work and be recognized for doing the great work, both.
The same, it's the same in a person or a company, because a company is a whole bunch of people. So
it's always the same.
It's always the same. As a CEO,
yeah,
you have built the 100 coaches. Tell me why it is so important for you.
Well, I went to a program called Design the Life You Love, and it was put on by a woman named Ayşe Bursel from Turkey, one of the world's top designers. And in the program, she asked me, who are my heroes? My heroes are very kind and generous people who are nice teachers, people like Peter Drucker, Francis Hesselbein, Richard Beckard, such important people. And, I am highly recognized for what I do. It's easy to look tall if you stand on the shoulders of a giant. It's very easy to look tall if you stand on the shoulders of a giant. I'm just standing on the shoulders of many giants. Now, these people were my heroes. She said, you should be more like them. I decided in honor of them to adopt 15 people, teach them all I know for free. And when they get old, they have to do the same thing. So I make a little video and put it on LinkedIn. I'm thinking, 100 people might apply. I'll adopt 15. I'm a nice old man stumbling around. They're laughing at my jokes. And then they get old, do the same thing. I was wrong. So far, over 18,000 people have applied to be adopted. And I've adopted about 370 people.
Oh,
have many adopted children. And the program is called 100 Coaches. And the philosophy is you just give things to people. You give things to people, and they can use them any way they want, and they don't have to give you money. The only price is they do something nice for someone else. Now, you talk to me, and I'm talking to all these nice people. I'm not charging you money. I just want to give things away. All my material, you may copy, share, download, duplicate, use in church, charity, business. Put your name on it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I give it all away. Why not? Well, people gave things to me that were very kind and generous. I just try to give back to others. Well, the important point, though, is, now back to you.
Give back to others. This is, thank you. This is, I'm telling all the time with my VIP coaches, because I have a small community of 50 coaches that are my graduates and my students in my training school of coaching. And I make a vision. I call them VIP, that is visionary, impactful, innovative, and powerful. And
Good.
I am with them to help them to have their impact, their unique impact in the other people. And I'm saying, I'm your teacher. You must be the teacher of other people, of other coaches, of your clients, to make a positive difference. This is my dream. And that's why I can say to you, Marshall, that If you ask me if I am fulfilled, this is the question I would like to ask you as the last question. So can I ask you this question? Are you fulfilled?
Oh, me? Yes. I'm happy with my life. I'm a very happy person, happy with my life. Why? If you look at my new book, The Earned Life, 3 things. One, my higher aspiration. I have a very high aspiration. My aspiration is to help as many people as I can in the limited time I have left. I mean, I'm 73 years old. I'm not naive. 30% of the people my age are already dead. So I'm not going to be here forever. And so I want to help as many people as I can in the time I have left. That's my higher aspiration. And beneath that, I have ambitions, which are things like writing books or being on this program with you or whatever. These are achievement of goals that are connected to this. And then finally, my day-to-day action of enjoying the process of life. I love what I do. Nobody makes me do anything. I love it. I'd rather be doing this than playing bad golf with old men at the country club and eating chicken sandwiches and talking about gallbladder surgery. So, you know, for me, I love what I do. So if you love what you do, you're achieving things, and the things you're achieving are very important and meaningful to you. You just won the game of life.
The game of life. This is the game of life. To do what is important for you and make a positive difference to other people. Not keep
You left out one thing.
Yes.
You left out one part of it, and enjoy the process.
Oh, of course. That's why I love you, Marshall, my mentor. Yes, enjoy the process. I am a girl for enjoy. Yeah. So Marshall, ask me a question, everything for me.
Okay, what's one thing you've learned from me that might help you have a good life?
I have learned a lot of you, Marshall, a lot of you. The first one, to be a human. The second one, to raise the standards.
Right.
To go for the best.
Good.
And the third one, that have a positive influence in other people, is for your soul. And your soul is in peace, you feel fulfilled, you feel on your feet, and in the perfect moment of your life. And our life, it's not only moments, it's more than moments. That is very important to fill your life with many people.
Yes. Okay.
So I like. So we can finish now.
Ask me.
Yes.
What is your final advice for everyone?
Yes. What is your final advice?
Breathing. Always leave some space for editing. Okay. Breathe. Okay.
Dear Marshall, my professor, my mentor, I would like to ask you the final question, and I'm sure it's going to be perfect, as always.
My final advice for everyone is, are we ready? My final advice, breathe. Breathe. Slow down your mind. Breathing. I want you to imagine you're 95 years old and you're just getting ready to die. You're on the deathbed. Here comes your last breath. Right before you take this breath, you're given a beautiful gift. The ability to go back in time. The ability to go back in time and talk to the person who's listening to me right now. The ability to help that person be a better professional. Much more important, the ability to help that person have a better life. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you, who knows what mattered in life and what didn't, and what was important and what was not, what advice would that wise old person have for the you that's listening to me right now? Think about that. Whatever you are thinking now, do that. In terms of a performance appraisal, that is the only one that matters. If the old person says you did the right thing, you did. The person says you made a mistake, you did. You don't have to impress anyone but that old person. Some friends of mine interviewed old folks who were dying, get this question: what advice would you have? On the personal side, 3 themes. Theme number 1, 3 words: be happy now. Not next week, not next month, not next year. Be happy now. Enjoy the moment. Life is short. It passes very quickly. Number 2, friends and family. Never get so busy climbing that corporate ladder you forget the people that love you. That's always a mistake. And then finally, you have a dream, go for it. Go for it. Business advice isn't much different. Number 1, life is short. Have fun. By the way, if you cannot have fun in HR, you will not have fun in finance. So, life is short. Have fun. Number 2, and the good thing about HR people is you get to do it in the job. Help people. Do whatever you can to help people. The main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. The 95-year-old you will be proud of you because you did and disappointed if you don't. And then finally, go for it. Life is short. HR is changing. The world's changing. Do what you think is right. You may not win. At least you tried. Old people, we seldom regret the risk we take and fail. We always regret the risk we fail to take. And finally, what's my goal? My goal is very simple. I hope everyone listening, my goal is I hope some of you have just a little better life. So if some of the people listening have a little better life, or even more important as HR professionals, as coaches, help other people have a little bit better life based on what I do, that's my goal.
Thank you, Marshall.